Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to the cave. So third gameplay, let's start. I did you the favor of skipping over the, well not skipping over, just not making you listen to the dialogue at the beginning of the game for a third time. It's unfortunately ominous. It really shouldn't have
on this fine night,
happened.
He searches for his true love, but does desire burn too brightly in his heart?
Let's see. So, here's what I'm thinking. The scientist level is really long. The time travel level is really long. The adventures level is really long. So let's just do the knight
he is on a quest
and
for
the
a sword of
monk
power and prestige,
and the hillbilly.
But will he find it before anyone else gets hurt?
We can't do anything with this campfire that we know is like the exit to the cave. So we're officially just speedrunning,
so he can become the master. It's a journey filled with peace and enlightenment.
We're gonna try to play as the monk the most, I guess. We'll lock him in as the knight, and we'll bring him in next. Okay, and we're just straight up speed running because it's gonna be a large gap section that we jump through after we do the knight and the hillbilly, because none of those other parts in any way do this. Look how the monk's arms are all stretched when he's pushing. They really just didn't put a lot of animation into that, but I can't really say I particularly blame them too much. Seems pretty obvious that instead of polishing things, they decided to just have a bunch of other things. It is possible that a lot of these 3D models are like things that were made for other Double Fine games. That would explain a lot. Particularly if a lot of these assets were from the like Telltale Monkey Island game, which would have been probably the only thing Double Fine did in 3D relatively around that time. Maybe there's some other things they did. So when you fall down that section, the general idea, I think, is that you let's
I hope you're not here to visit. No.
Try and skip as much of this.
Allowing you fine adventurers to partake in the unique experience that only the...
Just try to walk away from this guy as much as possible.
Take this giant novelty-sized key. It's cute, isn't it? Open the employee's back entrance. I'm sure you'll find some treasures worthy of the cave's gift shop. Haste makes waste is a stupid saying. Still, get cracking.
So, yeah, falling down that section, we saw a circus, and that circus is probably not the carnival that we see.
He is a funny little man, isn't he?
In the hillbilly section. It's probably the circus for the clown character. And there's probably some other references just throughout the game of elements in sections that are so here I could have sworn he just could grab the bucket. Like I could swear that was his ability. Yeah, he can just teleport objects. Really making the monk one of the best characters to play as, but they put him at the end so you kind of don't recognize that. And there's other cave paintings here, but we've already got the cave paintings for everything. The only thing we don't have the cave paintings for are the oops. This would have been the run to try to not kill yourself.
At least
So
not
much
this
for that.
soon. So much left for them to learn.
It's practically impossible, frankly, to now he won't take the fuse out of there. Let's make that jump. And let's just try to save as much time as possible. Okay. So this guy doesn't have the crowbar, and this guy doesn't have the crowbar. So how, per se, would I have fixed the well? Like, I need that collectibles. Yeah, so you need the crowbar, which means somebody needs to go back up and get it. I guess the game was potentially teaching you to not get rid of items, but that's never really a case at any other part of the game. So I also assume that you could not have dropped a crowbar until you got down to this level. And this certainly is slowing things down. We were making decent progress before. I don't really mind this tutorial section too much. It may be a little too long, but it's not terrible. The problem is that you then run into yet another tutorial section before and after this. So it's just all the same. Okay. I just screwed myself. Interesting. Maybe we can come back and get that later, but I just totally screwed up. And is it really worth it to try to start all over again? I don't think so. Right, so I'm not even going to get all of the cave paintings. That's just yet another achievement that it's not going to happen. And I screwed that up because I used the monk's ability, which was the only character that had an ability, I guess, that could have caused that to go awry. Unless they managed to program this in some way that I can break the well. Yep. Nope. You cannot interact with it. Alright. Bell. And grab. And we'll give it one more try over in this section. Unless maybe he just doesn't know how to use a rusty crank. Nope, I totally messed myself up. Yeah. Okay, that's a weird. At least we're doing something different, even if it was clearly not intended to happen that way. And that's the one we didn't need. Maybe by running all the way to the edge, we've reset it. And maybe it will be broken now. I guess I'm kind of glad at the beginning of the game they didn't drop the crystal monster and kill him. But I really would have preferred if the entire game had been a little bit more mysterious and less evil sounding. Like it really didn't need to be so dark in the way the cave was implying what was going to happen. There's a lot of little places where we'll try and play without dying again. And that is up there. But there definitely are a lot of places where this wouldn't really work very well. Let's see. I don't think either one of his abilities really work underwater. Still haven't really figured out the Thespian Ship Award. It really feels like they're just making a reference to like Joan Rivers. And this is a river. Well, it could be not really a river. But I don't know why you would make a reference to Joan Rivers. And Hillbilly with his big feet. Way bigger than any of the other characters. And grab your 3 prizes. This is almost certainly a like Monkey Island reference, although there really isn't a jeweled skull in the Monkey Island series. Not of any real importance. This is the part that as a tutorial works fine, but then as a actual game section it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense. Let's see. Yep, I totally screwed up there. Like, they should have just had us go through a tutorial section to get into the shop, or just right after we got out of the shop, and instead of having this guy make us get 3 items and then repeat that exact same action a second time.
Well, that's 1 trinket, a far cry from 3 trinkets.
Or you could have had 2 items, and what it could have been is you need to get 1 item at the beginning, and then you need to bring back 1 item at the second part to leave.
Maybe I didn't pay attention during math class. The third glorious trinket. I have to say, you have surprised me.
So he's gonna take this postcard, and what we're gonna do is steal it.
Oh, right. Sorry.
By walking out here, past the old sign.
Well, that was a close one.
And then we're gonna bring it back.
It does bode well for our intrepid spelunkers that they navigated that maze of intrigue. I have high hopes for this group, much better than the last. I think they may still be down.
And the game just crashed. Disk cannot be read. Okay, 1 second. Let me just pause my recording and we'll see what we can do about that. Okay, I'm back. I just clicked through the errors. It said disk cannot be read. It was a pop-up error from this. I checked all my save file free space. It's not like any hard disk is full. It almost felt like a reference to a Sierra game where, because there was a joke in the original version of Monkey Island that was edited out later, where you found this tree stump and then it told you to insert disc 35. There was only 4 discs in Monkey Island, the original Monkey Island. But I don't think they would play that joke and make up a pop-up screen and basically almost... I was only a second away from having to hit Control-Alt-Delete. We have nothing in our hands. There's something broken here, though. Yeah, all the user interface is broken. So, yeah. I guess all I can try and do is hit Alt F4 while we're on the screen and hope that that will save and exit. But I just hit the start button and it didn't pop up anything. Subtitles aren't showing. The UI in the lower left hand section's not showing. So we've run into some weird corruption, and I said ironically that it would be crazy if the game did crash and nothing had been saved. So we're about to find that out. We'll be back for another second here. Okay, let's see what happens now when we hit start and enter. I had to Control-Alt-Delete. I thought I was going to get away from that, but nope. Continue game and we'll see what happens. So oddly, if the loading is in the top right screen, we need to watch the top right side of the screen to see if there's any thing. And here's the glitch, is I did not get the I did not apparently get the postcard back into the souvenir shop, so I didn't get the achievement for not stealing the postcard. I just got it for stealing the postcard. So that's where the glitch came from. I kind of wish that the auto-saving had not saved that much so I could go back and get that one monk cave painting. I suppose you could get that one fairly easily and quickly some other ways, like if you just played to that first section, and then that might just be enough to then save and exit without doing a full playthrough. I looked at the achievements again. There's a hugely wild number of achievements of different things. There's no way you would get them without using a walkthrough specifically designed around getting achievements. And that's something that's kind of come and gone, and I'm a little bit happy that it's gone. Now achievements are pretty obvious, and you can get 100% for mostly playing the game, and if there are even
some say chivalry
a
is a
few
trait that
left,
cannot be learned. It is a quality you are
they're
born
pretty
with.
easy to get.
That may or may not be true, but what is true is you can't steal it. It's a lesson our brave knight friend is about to learn, or a lesson we hope he is about to learn before anyone else gets hurt.
This
or
is the
maimed,
path.
Or killed, or eaten alive. Forget I said eaten alive.
This is the path where your that was blocked off. Wasn't blocked off before. And boy, does that guy have no real use outside of this level.
Aye, another fine knight hath cometh to try and pulleth Excalibur from the stoneth. Only the worthy may attempt such a feat. Prove thy worth by first winning the love of my daughter. She is quite prickly, and I fear
There's a lot of dialogue in this one. This feels like this was probably one of the first written puzzles compared to like the scientists section, which is just really big and doesn't really have any explanation or dialogue at all. And it is rather weird to have. Yeah, let's try something crazy here. That's a weird climbing animation. In theory, I might be able to cheat this whole thing if I can just use my ability to steal the amulet from her right now.
Off with you, commoner.
Right. Nope, she just says off with you, commoner. So I can't steal anything. It probably would have made more sense if there was a character that unlocked after the first playthrough that was a shortcut character and didn't make you play through the whole level a couple of some levels twice. Or you could have had each of the characters be playable at the beginning.
Please,
all 7
another
characters,
chivalrous knight
when
trying
they
to win my
finish
love
their
with
level,
added
they
deeds of bravery or
they
bribery.
get to
I need
escape
talk to my
or they
daughter,
die,
please.
and
Okay,
then
let's get it over
all
with.
7 of the characters
Prove
get
your
back
bravery by
together
returning with
at
the
the
gold
end of the
dragon
game.
is guarding. Do that, and I'll give you my amulet as a token of my love. Blah, blah, blah. That is what you want to hear, right? Dragon, gold, amulet. In that order. Men. I just want to be an electrical engineer.
But that would definitely change some of how the game would play, but not by much. Yeah, that was probably the fastest way to do that. Speedrunning. What do we need to get first? Well, he can just get the dragon key immediately. And the monk might be able to actually get us through a lot of this. And we just need the coin. Alright. So monk. Down we go this way. Is there possibly a path through all of this? Like, the monk couldn't have gotten to Excalibur and used his ability, he just wouldn't have been close enough. There's kind of nothing over here. Some visual glitches. And I'm kind of continuously getting the wrong cave paintings that we don't need. I really don't see the value of having something. Let's see. thought maybe that there was an achievement for standing on top of the food. But maybe you have to stand on top of the food as the knight and then let the dragon hit you. I don't know. Again, his arms are very stretched. Every character's arms are very stretched. And we're probably doing some parts here that don't really need to be done. There's another section. Jumping over those spikes is something any character can do. So they've got the coin blocked by the gate. And while there probably is some kind of speed run way to get just close enough to it to teleport it through, obviously that's not the intended way of doing things. So they're not gonna make it easy on us. This definitely would have been the thing that they would have wanted to have added to the game, is a solution to the problem that took a lot less effort and time. Let's see. I guess I need to drop this, and it drops in a way so it won't fall off the edge. So I need to drop this down here and then climb up here. Unless, I suppose it's worth trying out. Let's see if we can.
Off with you.
Nope, we can't get any dynamite from there. I don't even know what the... Yeah, the dynamite just frees Excalibur.
Off with you, commoner.
And we can't get the amulet off of her either. So pretty obviously they had to nerf the monk's ability, otherwise he would have been a shortcut, and they were probably very terrified in the testing phase to make sure that somebody wouldn't accidentally beat the game the wrong way on the first try, to the point where you can't beat the game the wrong way on the second try, even if you wanted to. Let's see. So the young apprentice, we missed that. There is something I definitely don't understand, and I'm not gonna say anything other than that, but there is something I definitely don't understand about, like, the Buddhism, Shintoism idea of children being given such, basically being given over to a temple to train as monks. It seems to me like often it's like unwanted children get thrown in there, and maybe that is a better system than the United States like adoption system, where the people who are adopting, well, or taking care of kids, that they often don't adopt them, that are unwanted, that they often get stuck in the system, as it's called, and it's terrible. So I don't know if one is better than the other, but it's weird. It feels a lot of it feels a little weird So there he got the coin from that point. Let me ask this question. Is there really any way to lock the gate? No. I would also say there's a lot of weirdness with the fact that a lot of the Western religions often let
Sounds like someone forgot to close the gate.
unverified adults have a lot of power and authority over the over kids without proper oversight. And I really haven't heard of any kind of major abuse under Shintoism, Buddhism, but
seconds away from getting the
I'm not sure.
amulet. Oh, the suspense is killing me.
So
The suspense was killing someone. It just wasn't me.
that doesn't have
Worst
much to do with the
first
game,
date ever.
but
Looks
it
like
is certainly
tonight
a
he's out of
thought.
luck. He's never going to get her amulet now.
Right.
I stand corrected. Looks like it's a win-win. Well, not for the princess, but win-win for the knight and the dragon. When our brave heroes get back to the king, my advice would be to skip over this part.
Okay. We need the dynamite. So, where's this guy? I'll have him deliver the heart because he wants love anyways. It probably won't do anything. And then I'll have this guy go back up. And it very possibly would not be faster to use his ability to get the dynamite than to just walk to the side. Yeah, it's just easier to walk to it, and you had to anyways. But I imagine the story of the monk is that he just wants to be the master of the temple, and so instead of waiting, he decides to kill his master. Just a kind of standard cliche solution here. Again, we're trying not to die. I don't know when the last time we did die was. Oh yeah, we can't actually get to the king with anybody other than the knight. But then that'll be the end of the knight's special ability being useful. And it really isn't that useful. You know, what you could have done is had one character with just multiple abilities, or potions that he could only use a certain number of times.
Let's hope the king
Like
doesn't ask how
once
the
per
princess is
puzzle,
doing.
you can
Awkward.
become invincible. Once per
Don't forget to
puzzle, you
wipe the
can
princess bits off the
jump
amulet
through
before giving it to the king.
a door
It's just good
or hack
manners.
a computer. What I wouldn't want to see is a puzzle that required all 7 of the characters. Like, that they were wise in that part. They knew that would have been way too ambitious.
The brave knight
But
returns with my daughter's amulet.
It would have been
And
nice
the first
if
ever to do so,
the
I
knight's
might add.
invincibility
My daughter can be hard to swallow
had some
sometimes.
use
As
somewhere
promised,
else, and
he
it
has
really
won the
doesn't.
right to attempt to pull the sword from the stone.
You would
must have
think
really proved your undying love for
that
her.
Ooh, why did he have to say undying?
I'm gonna just leave the bloody amulet. Yeah, you would think that, like, in the zoo section, when a character gets eaten, if you were playing as a paladin, that would have just potentially allowed you to skip that section completely.
The wedding can begin.
Who says cheaters never win? Losers, that's who.
And
The king seems pretty excited about his new trial-by-sword-pulling son-in-law. Ooh, sounds like he's off to hug and congratulate his favorite daughter on the upcoming wedding. Yeah, well, what's left of her anyway.
So let's get out of here. My calendar, my clock
That sweet smell of cotton candy
implies
and
that
roller coaster vomit
we've gone
coming
30
on the
minutes, but I'm going to give it another
the
10
carnival
minutes
is in town. And you know what these
because
three
of
would
the
love even more than going to
bugs
the carnival?
in the reboot.
Sneaking into the carnival. Oh, come on, there's no shame in it, really. It's a victimless crime, unlike the crime about to be committed by someone who shall remain nameless. But it rhymes with Bill Hilly.
Let's see if that's enough. So
There
down
she
here
is,
we
the
go.
amazing two-legged lady. You know the hillbilly carries a torch for her. If only she would finally notice him. They could marry and live happily ever after with a house full of little Bill Hillies. Ugh.
So we're gonna try our very best to run through as much of this as fast as possible. And there might be some benefits here, because we probably can get the sledgehammer faster if we run over this direction. Yeah, I can just grab the sledgehammer, and so we don't even have to do that section, which means we don't have to put the circuit breaker in that section. And that's just another carnival ticket. I'm gonna drop that in front of the paladin. They really do make a special effort to make sure you don't have Excalibur, and none of the other characters really have an item that is
175. Right again. You lose.
So I'm always 175. Let's see.
Your weight is exactly 175. Right
Okay.
again.
It seems like the weight is always going to be 175. We do need to get the circuit breaker over there. We need to get the dumbbell over there. And this was the worst part of the game because it's a moving platform. I'm glad they did not replicate this idea anywhere else. And we're but yep. And I don't know how you fix a moving platform like this, because if you speed it up, it just becomes more difficult. If you slow it down, it becomes more frustrating. It is right in the middle between the two.
The pink bear hanging in that prize booth looks remarkably like what the amazing two-legged lady desires most. Perhaps the hillbilly can win enough tickets to buy it for her. Then this adorable story can have its happy ending.
Let's try and rush through all of this. We'll give it about 7 more minutes. And Is the wrench down here? I don't think it is.
Spin the wheel and guess the color. If you're right, you win a ticket.
And it'll really stink if it turns out that there's something that prevents me from using this. No, the wrench is right next to it. So we just have to do that. And then that. And then down we go. And we fall to our death, but they do give us the favor of not. Let's see.
Is the true path to wisdom.
It's green, which means I think I don't even really. I probably need the wrench, but I don't think I need anything else.
Come and play the color wheel game.
So
That was cleared of all charges
green.
of game rigging by the Carnival Oversight Board 3 weeks running. Green. Despite it being statistically impossible, we have a winner. That was our only ticket, so we're closing down for the night. Get out of here, scram.
So, speedrunning strats here, just trying our very best to get the items as far as possible, as quickly as possible. This would be an interesting game to watch a real speedrunner play, certainly, because yeah, there's definitely some stuff here that you could improve on, and really wouldn't even miss much of the story, considering how the parts you can't skip, I imagine, are just the beginnings and the ends. And I imagine you'd want to do a 100% speed run where you get all the collectibles amongst 3 characters. But even if it was just a any percent speed run, as long as they don't glitch it, it would be interesting. Yeah, this guy's talking way too much. Take note that I did not pick up the cupcake. I just put the weight down.
Thank you. Please hold your applause.
The only kind of speedruns I really don't like to watch are the ones where they break the game so much that it takes 5 minutes to beat like a 60-hour game.
75. I win again. Hey, that's not possible. I always guess right. This carnival game is now closed while we investigate tampering with our tampering. Please leave.
Alright. Let's go ahead and drop that there. And let's go get the wrench, because I'm fairly certain we need the wrench. Again, probably slower to use your ability than it is to just get the item. Alright. So you need a wrench. And you need that last ticket. Yeah, even avoiding climbing, that still probably doesn't help. Alright. Take the wrench, stand on the dunking booth, press the dunking booth and get the last ticket.
In a triumph of love and teamwork, our friends have managed to lie, cheat, and steal their way to 5 tickets and a pink bear. Now to snatch the prize and profess our undying love for the 2-legged lady.
So they switched that around.
Well, this is not a heartening turn of events. Apparently, what the amazing two-legged lady desires most is a man of ordinary strength. The hillbilly came so close to true love, only to have it snatched away by a rival who couldn't lift his own shadow if it went on a diet.
So risk of fire is high. We steal another carnival ticket. We go and start this fire.
I'm not sure taking up smoking is the right cure for a broken heart. But I don't think that is the hillbilly's plan. Is this really the path he wants to go down?
And so they do just put out the fire. Alright. So that is something that we missed the first time. Because we played too efficiently. Probably because I remembered some of this. Like, it did kind of come back to me after looking at it. Like, so there's a weird lack of replayability in this game, even years later. Let's see what the next thing is. Just more Kung Fu training. I think Kung Fu's right one, but very possibly not. Some kind of martial arts training. Right. Part of, I think, one of the things that I wouldn't agree with Shintoism and Buddhism is it's trying to get very young kids to meditate, and a heavy focus on meditating and trying to attain this calmness of mind. And that's fine if that's what you want, but it's kind of weird to have that forced upon you too. See if we can start a fire now. Yep, we can.
The wise Lord Tennyson penned the line. It's
I
better
think
to
I
have loved
maybe
and lost
missed
than to have
another
never loved at all.
another
He had
section.
clearly never met this group.
Let's see. We can watch the whole place burn, and I think they definitely wanted us to walk all the way back this direction and see the whole thing on fire before it cleared. Yep, I very well missed another cave drawing that would have been further to the left. And part of the problem with the way they promote meditation is by hitting the kids with bamboo sticks, and having them sit in what are effectively stress poses that you would use in forms of torture or brainwashing. And so while it isn't that extreme always,
our intrepid trio may not give
it certainly
this
can
kind
get
of
that
seismic
way.
meddling a second thought. But choices have consequences. I've played host to more truth seekers than
Let's
any
see.
human would care to count, and I know an omen when I see it.
Let's ignore this
Trust
guy.
me, this is ominous. Ominous?
Where are we going?
Ominous.
What is
Yeah,
the next
no,
section?
Yeah, ominous. Oh,
'Cause
never mind.
It kind of now is just a long drop down to the... Yeah, it's a long drop down to the monks section. Yeah. Isn't it? Alright, so... Yeah, it's probably been 30 minutes. Unfortunately, my recording software does not have an actual timer as far as how long it's been going. Although I guess I could calculate it if I looked at one of the other stats. But yeah, that's going to be about it. Apologies if there's going to be a little bit more questioning / maybe a little bit anti-Shintoism, Buddhism bias in this, but it is definitely something I don't quite understand, and a lot of times it does feel a lot like the Western Boy Scouts in a way, in which they're sometimes it can be really good, but sometimes the wrong person can be in charge and it can go really bad, and I don't want to get into any graphic detail, but I think that's very much possible when you have such organizations, particularly when they're controlled and or founded by religious unquestionable beliefs. Also, in the Asian countries, particularly like Japan, if a Buddhist master was in some way mistreating his pupils, it would probably not get reported on or dealt with in very much the same way that it didn't happen with Boy Scouts. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. I'll try to stop this talk in the next recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. And if you want to support me further, there's a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and gift me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.